Alright. I'm just thinking, yeah, it's warpless, so I don't have to worry about fast map. Yeah, so I would like to see a confirmation from somebody in chat, somebody with a sword by their name in chat, that we are ready to go. I just don't want to go early. Those are really cute emotes, Kinoko Jewels. Raise Fire. I'm not sure I know who that is, but those are very cute emotes. All set. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is Hue, and there's a bit of an info dump right away. Usually we skip this in runs, but I'll play it for the marathon.
Dearest Hue, oh, I've had the most dreadful luck. I feel terrible that you've been left alone all this time. The traitorous Dr. Grey tried to steal the annular spectrum, a ring I developed to allow perception and alteration of colour.
Thanks, guys.
Some call them impossible colours. Impossible for Dr. Grey, maybe. Anyway, something went wrong. I turned a strange shade and became invisible. The ring, it fractured, scattering coloured shards far and wide. I stayed at home for many weeks, watching, waiting, existing on this coloured plane. I couldn't speak to you,
poopy dream
nor
cave.
interact with anything in the mono world. So I left. I left for the university where I hid away the coloured tools I had created. I pray you have found what is left of the ring.
Okay, so that is... Yeah, I know. Thank you, Sindoris. That is basically the story of the game. We are the titular young boy Hue, set out to find our missing mom. In this world, color does not exist. It's just a black and white world, the mono world, she said it in her letter. And she created a device that allows her to perceive and manipulate color. And we will go throughout the world collecting shards such as this one, which reassemble the device that allows us to perceive and manipulate color. Right now we just have the blue one. Oh yeah, let's get this too.
Since the
Usually skip it in
we
runs.
have pointed to the sky and declared it blue. It is this shared vision, this unquestioned understanding which connects us. But are you really seeing blue the same way I see it? Perhaps blue is nothing more than a shade of grey to you. Perhaps everyone in this world sees nothing but shades of grey. Don't you see, Hue? This is why we're here.
So this here with the miner just introduces the really only gameplay mechanic this game has is shifting colors, which is done with the right control stick. Hear that, Modicius? He plays this game with mouse and keyboard. To change the background, the sky color, if you will. And by doing that, objects of that color disappear.
Enter a cave, expecting a waterfall.
And it enables your
Chances
traversal.
are your expectations will be met.
Now, obviously, since we only have blue at this point, light blue, there will be a dark blue later.
Don't you think instead the cave will be full of surprises?
Hold that
I
thought,
ask for you,
Marchify.
Hue, to abandon your expectations.
Absolutely hold that thought.
To pull me back from the brink of unreality. I need you to see the world.
Yeah, we only
not
have the
for
light
what
blue
it
right
is,
now, so
but for what it
there's
can
not
be.
really any puzzles in this first section. It's more just rooms that introduce the shifting mechanic until you're really, really comfortable with it. There are a few small movement optimizations I'm doing, like these bunny hops are... they're not pixel perfect or frame perfect or anything like that, but they are very tight to do them properly. Pull boxes... Jump over here. We gotta go up and around, but we only need the tiniest sliver of the box to be able to do it. Don't have to pull the box all the way out. And we can change our horizontal direction in midair after jumping. That is one of the key things to a lot of the skips in this game. Let's see if we get the good RNG here. We did. And we died anyway. Alright. There's a way those rocks can roll such that the skip I'm hopefully going to do, or not going to do, is never possible. There it is. Saves 2 seconds if you get it first try. If you get it third try, it loses a lot of time. Oh, come on. And ordinarily in the any percent category, in the any percent category, oh, come on. In the any percent category, we would pull up the menus and hit restart level upon death. There, cheapers. But that's actually forbidden in the Warpless category. I usually get it second try. It's like second try every time, except that time it was third try. Yeah, it's one of the, I found that skip. It's one of the few skips I've ever found that I regret finding. Here's our second color shard. It's purple. There's still not really what I would call a puzzle just yet. They will come later. The next few rooms, and this is the shortest section between color shards, between purple and the next one, which is orange. This section really just teaches you what happens when you switch from one color to another. Because previously we only had blue, so we could only either have blue on or not have it on.
Did you know, Hugh, that purple is at the very end of the visible spectrum? It's the hardest color.
Yes, Mommy, I did know that. You've told me thousands of times.
Imagine a shade one step further than purple.
I do love the actress's voice. Her name is Anna Acton. And if I didn't love her voice so much, I could not have run this game for as much as I have. And I have run this game a lot.
If reality is rooted in our perception, and you cannot perceive me, do I even exist to you? I'm sure that I do. I mean, you're reading this letter, or at least I hope you are. I'm sorry, but existing in this strange state of impermanence does funny things to you, Hugh. It makes you question what is real.
Yeah, you can see this is all about just making the objects of one color appear as you switch to the other. It's really just introducing that mechanic. And anytime you're jumping, you want to be bunny hopping. Jumping in right as you hit the ground. Modicius will probably fight me on this, but I have found it to be a minor time save. I'm talking frames at a time. Excuse me, dry mouth. But frames add up to seconds, of course, to bunny hop when going upstairs like this. Excuse me, I don't know if a bug flew in my mouth or something, but I got a seriously going on right now. It costs time to jump going downstairs. I used to do it because it looks kind of stylish, but it's actually a pretty significant time loss.
The university gardens were bathed in an earthy orange light when I first met Dr. Gray. Summer had come and gone, and a cold autumnal crispness had caught me off guard. I sat on the grass, surrounded by my books and papers, when a cool breeze threatened to blow my notes across the lawn. A page escaped my reach and took flight. A man not much older than myself chased after it, catching it on his third or fourth attempt. I remember his gentle smile when he returned it. He started talking, and I was surprised that he had read my work in the university journal. He said he was a professor and that he hoped we could work together someday. It's funny, Hugh, how something so small can change so much.
Yeah, I want to try to not talk over the letters as much as possible because they are the story of the game.
Dr. Gray soon became my assigned mentor, and
they won't always be this close together. I will also say that.
Our fires burnt brightest when we worked together. It felt like we could achieve anything. We discovered more about colour than I could ever have imagined. We split light, mapped spectrums, we painted. We laughed. We worked long hours, and soon our goal became all-consuming. We were vessels. The work became more important than us, and we knew it.
Sidebar, ew, work is never more important than people. Yeah, this is one of the most fun stretches in the run, in the game. Whichever you want to think of it, because there's just a lot of really cool movement optimizations and shifting optimizations you can do. Like, it's remarkable how little you have to do in that room to get out. You know, it's not a very complicated room anyway, but just how little you have to do. The idea here is to not match the colors up above with the colors below. Enables you to jump across. In the full 80% run, we would do a glitch called a death warp in this room. It's not quite what you ordinarily think of as a death warp. In this game, the game takes 2 steps to determine where you are in the world. First, it determines whether you're at an entrance or exit door for a room, and then it determines which room you're in. If we die while going backwards through an entrance door, we can interrupt that process and spawn at the exit door of the room we're already in. It's pretty cool when it works. And another thing I really like about that glitch is that there are various applications of it, some harder than others. You can also do it in this room. This solution is also pretty fast. The death warp is only about a second faster. These skeletons say funny things if you jump into them. You're not getting under my skin. Yeah, when it works. Because when it doesn't work, it doesn't look that cool. Right? Yeah, I've submitted this game for Games Done Quick more than 10 times, and obviously it has never made it in. It really kind of broke my heart at SGDQ 2 years ago when they took a substantially similar game called Runbow, which has the exact same mechanic, shifting colors in the background to make objects in the foreground disappear to enable traversal. I've kind of given up on that idea. Frankly, this run that I'm doing here and now will probably be the last run I do of this game. I do have some other goals going forward. I had kind of forgotten I submitted for this marathon with this game until the games list came out, and then the schedule came out.
It's funny.
I also thought it was later in August. This is my way of saying I'm on about 6 hours de-rusting in the last 6 months.
I would compliment him on his work, and his cheeks would flush with a pinkness. He'd notice and change the subject, embarrassed. This work we were doing together, it didn't feel much like work anymore.
And I always say each category, we have 3 major categories for the game and 2 minor ones. Nobody's ever done any runs of the minor ones, but there has been some interest. I always say that each category offers something the others don't. This one I do feel is the best showcase category, the best marathon category, because you see all the puzzle rooms. The full 80% run skips several of them. It skips several of them as in you never even see them. And it also skips several in the sense that we don't do the ordinary solutions, we do death warps. And it also skips a lot of the letters from Mom. The Warpless run will still skip one of the letters, but you more or less get the full story. At least for marathons. As I said earlier, there are some letters that I skip in like PB attempt runs. There is a marginal lag spike when you pick them up, but it's also just because, I've heard this 1,000 times. No, seriously, 1,000 times. So, don't really need to hear it again. This room's got some pretty cool fluid movements. When it goes right. That's not perfect, but pretty good. Alright, this room is pretty infamous. This room contains a skip that I contributed to the route. It's really the first major skip I ever contributed to a speedrun route. Damn. What you're supposed to do is push one of the small blocks into that spike pit, but hopefully I will be able to demonstrate how you don't have to do that. And this skip is doing this in real run attempts. Golly. This is definitely rip run if you miss it, because it's a 20-second time loss. I have a visual cue for it that is usually pretty consistent. And Modicius has this buffer strat where he shifts while falling. Damn it! I have never tried that. And it's harder than it looks because you can't hug the wall on the way down. You have to have rightward momentum going into the little notch where you can land safely. You can't simply hug the right wall. There! Alright. What was that, 4 tries? That room's a death warp. It's one of the easiest ones because you have so much time before that box falls and kills you. Just go backwards through the entrance door before it does. And I think I pushed the long purple block too far. Yes, I did. That is obnoxious. Luckily, I can just do... Oh, this is so obnoxious. I have to do it that way. First try, Craigasm, I know. That's not even close enough. Golly. I am making a lot of mistakes. Yeah, my PB in this category is 55:18. I'll be happy with sub 1 hour. I tried to do a no reset no matter what run last night, and I just made so many mistakes. I hate no reset runs. I never do them. I had to just shut it off because I was so disgusted with myself. This room's another one with a pretty cool fluid solution. When it works right. Disagree, Kinoko Jules. Except in a marathon. No reset runs on your own stream are kinda butts. And not the good kind of butts. But I do know some people who feel the way you do. You know, resetting sucks, but you know what else sucks? Being 5 minutes behind. And for our next color shard, which is, red? Yeah, it's red. Couldn't remember what the last one we had was. Get wrecked, Kinoko Jules. Oh, you didn't have to delete the emote. I love the emote. Those emotes are super cute. And if you haven't noticed, the letters describe each color that you just grabbed.
Did you know, Hugh, that every language first has a word for black and for white, for dark and for light? The first colour described afterwards is always red. The colour of blood and wine. The colour of anger. The anger I felt when I was told my experiments had gone too far. When Dr. Gray sided with the university, stopping my research
Rogue
altogether.
mod.
For all our languages, for all our ways to communicate. It's funny how sometimes we simply cannot. It leads people to do things they regret, to steal, to break, to forget what is important.
Another nice thing about the Warpless run is the letters are pretty close together, so you get a cohesive sense of the story.
Once a seed has taken root, it doesn't take long for it to grow, to nurture and blossom into something beautiful. The seed of knowledge was planted in my mind, and I wasn't prepared to let it wilt and die. The university claimed my experiments were unethical, that altering the fabric of our reality was dangerous. They were unflinching. My research was confiscated and my contract terminated. Following my expulsion, I was left with no choice but to uproot and move us both far away. I knew of a small fishing village a boat ride from the university, where I hoped my reputation wouldn't precede me. You and I moved into a humble home, which is now where you spent most of your childhood.
Yeah, the voice actress's name is Anna Acton. I believe this is the only game she's ever been in, but she has done TV and movies in England. Ah, come on. I don't think so. But you can certainly check. That's her name, Anna Acton, A-C-T-O-N. So there's cycles in this room that I never figured out. Let's see if we get the fastest cycle. We're not. Yeah, pretty close though. Sometimes you can get it, sometimes you can't. This game was, by and large, made by 2 people. There are, of course, more than 2 names in the credits. But in terms of, like, the level design and the coding, developers Henry Hoffman and Dan DeRocha. Henry is also from England. I don't believe Dan is. Come on, get the key. Music is by a British composer named Alkis Levathanos. I actually picked up the soundtrack album for this game on vinyl. It is good stuff. That right there is one of the more recently discovered skips. What I want to call the intended solution is to move the block on the other side of the room into that spike pit. It's a cycle skip here. Let's see if we get it. I don't think we are. I think I pushed the block a little bit too far, yeah. Damn. So, this is the intended solution. First mistake in the run. Hixty lol. I totally didn't lose a minute to gatekeeper skip. Oh yeah, in the room with the rolling skulls, I've never figured out the cycles there. And this room used to be the room that decided whether I had a run or not, because I used to be extremely bad at this skip. Until I figured out a way to change it from about a 5% success rate to a 99.9% success rate. And Modicius thinks I'm crazy. He's never had trouble with this skip the OG way, but the way I do it is to just aggro that one thwomp on the bottom, and then everything works fine. I was always getting crushed and smushed without doing it that way. Next color, it's time for dark blue. Remember what somebody said earlier about blue, about not having a word for blue in the language? Smashed and crushed.
Do you recall those dusty old tomes that used to sit on my desk? The ancient scriptures of civilizations lost. I spent hours poring over them, searching for clues to support my research. Aside from their wonders, one thing stood out above all else. Blue, or specifically the absence of it. Other colours were detailed at length, but not blue. It was never mentioned at all. The word simply didn't exist. Could they not distinguish blue? Without a word to describe it, how could we be sure they could see it at all?
And the first 100 or so times I played this game, I thought that was just a poetic turn, but that truly is based in fact. You know, the civilization she's describing is one of the ones that lived on what we now call Greece. I'm not sure if it was the Cretans or the Spartans or the Minoans or one of those. But yeah, they had no word for blue. That is absolutely 100% fact. Another thing I like about this game is the puzzle difficulty. It's not just a ramp up. It's, you know, there's hard puzzles and easy puzzles scattered throughout. That last one was incredibly easy. Only 2 color shifts required. I would say even in a casual playthrough, it's pretty easy. This room, I've seen so many casual players die in this room. And I used to monk ass a little bit in that room, doing runs. Not in quite some time, though. This room has a skip that I did in my first playthrough. Sadly, I can't claim to have found the skip. The existing run community did already know about it, but I'm just super happy to have gotten it in my first playthrough, and before I mess it up. Nope, it's all good. It's another one of those where you can change your horizontal direction in midair after jumping. Not quite close enough. Oh, dying in that room a bunch? Yeah, I'm sure I did too, and I actually did stream and record and save my first playthrough of this game. I was actually quite bad at this game. I should go back and watch that VOD sometime and see just how many times I died. Spoilers, it was a lot. I call this the Indiana Jones room because it just, the feel of it evokes that scene in the Indiana Jones movie to me where he's running from the big boulder. Alrighty. Time for our next color shard. Yellow. And oh boy, are we gonna have some fun in yellow section. Yellow section has some of the hardest rooms in the run, but some of the coolest when they go right. Probably the hardest room for me in this upcoming section is one that, if you do it the slow, boring, normal way, you know, it's probably something that I can't say no casual player has ever died in that room, because of course they have, but probably way less than some of the other rooms. And I'll point it out when we get to it.
Spring was around the corner. Yellow daffodils poked through the dirt in our backyard. As time moved, my resentment slowly slipped away. I continued my research from home. Without Dr. Gray, work was slow, but I still made progress. One day, Hugh, when you were sleeping, I watched over you. I was on the cusp of a breakthrough, and you were the last person left to see it. I was so excited for the both of us.
Red.
My research led me to tales of a long-lost civilization. They built great machines, pioneering electricity many years before we discovered it. Strangely, though, this civilization is said to have felt no pain. They knew of pain and observed it, yet could not experience it themselves.
This one I don't think is based in fact.
To them, the sensation of pain is like me explaining colour to someone that can only see in black and white. I wonder, Hugh, if we will be able to share in our experiences of colour.
Where is my jump? I completely hit the jump button and nothing happened. I wish I could say that's never happened before, but it has! Cycle optimization in this room that I did not get. Still pretty fast, though. Real complicated looking puzzle here that we will not interact with at all. This is the room that's hard for me that is not hard for anyone else because they don't do the stupid stuff I do. That's one. I was pointing directly at pink. Or at red, I mean. I was pointing directly at red. At red, I was pointing directly at red, and it went to pink. I'm gonna try the fancy way of doing this room one more time. Now, the first one's relatively easy. You have a lot more time for it. The second one is harder. Yeah. Okay, let's just do this room the slow, boring way. You can do that same laser skip with the one up top. I just can't because I'm bad. Now, because I didn't go back through the door, the lasers are on a different cycle than they would be when you enter the room, so I gotta do it the really slow way. Disappointed that I didn't get that right, but not surprised. That's where all of my actual run attempts last night ended, if they got that far. Which means I haven't really practiced the upcoming rooms in... Well, I did do a few D-Rest runs 2 days ago, but other than that, 6 months. Where is my damn jump? Okay. Okay, now we're gonna do this room the frickin' slow way. You really only get one shot at this room? Okay, now we're gonna do this from the frickin' slow way. Because if you reset this room, the lasers, the platforms rather, are not on the same cycle, and even going back in and going back out and coming back in doesn't reset them. This will probably take 11 tries. What the hell, man? Nice save. What do you mean, nice save? I haven't done anything right. Not in this section, at least. There, that's what that's supposed to look like. Hooey! Lazy Madness 2? Yeah, it's a good one. You can death warp in this room. It's one of the more atypical death warps because you use the laser to your left, that yellow laser, to kill you instead of a rock or box. Light blue. I don't think I'm going to get this sub-hour, but that's alright. I was pretty cold coming in, and that's my own damn fault, but I really thought the marathon was later in August. I'm glad I checked the schedule on, like, July 31st or whatever it was when I did. Dead. It's me going too fast. Gotta go slow. What? Oh, this is so bad. It's so bad. The idea here is pretty self-explanatory. Just got to shift to the color of the laser that might kill you, which is also the color you're running on, but have enough momentum to land on the safe spots. The next one's a little different, because there's other things to jump on. It takes enough time that you can get that far. Now, the next handful of puzzle rooms we would not even see in the full any percent run. This is the last color shard, green. I've seen many a casual player get to this point and think, oh, this is the end of the game. This is roughly the halfway point. It's a little bit past half. Which is not a great sign considering I can see by OBS I've been streaming for 39 minutes.
The first time I wore the ring, I could see a coloured image of the sun. Aqua, purple, orange, pink, red, blue, yellow and green. Great fireworks played out across the backdrop to my reality. Was I dreaming? Was I alive? My senses, dulled from a lifetime of monotone, struggled with the revelation. Time eased. Colours danced in slow motion.
36 minutes? Okay, so
ballet on the moon.
we have a small chance to still be sub-hour, because it is past the halfway point, not a whole lot past.
Colour dissolved into grey.
This next room has a super cancerous skip. What have we got to lose by trying it once?
After seeing in colour for the
Yeah, oh, can't do that. I mean, I should anyway. It's not like I'm going to submit this run to the leaderboards. But yeah, you can run through those two lasers over there.
when everything
I've only gotten that skip like twice ever.
In colour. I had never before had a coloured memory.
There's a cool skip in this room we can do. If I remember how to do it. There we go. I think that looks pretty cool. This room is the bane of the Warpless run because there's really nothing you can do to speed it up. Oh boy. It's that kind of run, isn't it? There are a couple of really tiny things you can do to shave, you know, frames. So you have to wait for the platform to get essentially that far. It has to double back anyway, so you don't need to... Yeah, that's not anywhere close to far enough. That's one of the things you can do to save just a tiny bit of time, is not push this orange block all the way. I mean, we still got so many difficult strats up ahead. I am not confident about this run being sub-estimate. Well, maybe since it's an hour 5, but not the estimate I gave, which was an hour. Yeah. The ordinary way to do this room is to turn the lasers off several times. You can actually do this room without turning the lasers off at all. It's a pretty fun solution. It's a pretty difficult solution, but what am I doing? Oh, I didn't need to do that. That was fine. I'm silly. It's much faster to do it with turning the lasers off. Here's another routing optimization that's a little unexpected. The game wants you to go to the left there and go through a room with another letter from Mom to push the story forward. It's actually faster to climb out of the cave this way and run to the lighthouse through the village. And it's not a little bit faster. It's over 10 seconds faster. So that is the one letter from Mom that the Warpless run does skip. Turning on the lighthouse has actually been our goal this whole time, as it lets the boat come to the harbor. Remember, the university is a short boat ride away. Now we're making our way to it. Yeah, in that letter, it's actually been forever since I've heard it. It's just Mom talking about having explored all the possibilities of color or all the possibilities of color that she has explored and thinking there must be even more.
If a tree stands in the woods and nobody is there to see it, does that tree exist?
And sort of pontificating on the matter of whether color exists objectively or simply because we perceive it. That actually has an answer in science.
This journey has been difficult, Hugh. And whilst I have trodden a lost, winding path, I feel no closer to the truth I was after. No matter how long you chase the moon. If truth does exist in our minds, then I feel there may be one that I have neglected. All this time, you've been alone, and now uprooted, on a journey for my cause. For what? So that I could
easy
see
to
the
fall
world
there.
a little clearer? I do hope, in the end, it was worth it. For both of us.
So there's our introduction to our new concept. I call them trampolines. You jump on them and they change color. Now, there would be a stalactite up here that would fall down and kill us, but it's light blue. I can actually show it. There it is. By shifting to light blue before you get there, you're safe. Yeah, I love shifting right after hitting that trampoline on the bottom, because it distorts the audio ever so slightly. No, that one. Now, there's several different solutions for this room. There's actually several different solutions for most of the rooms. This is not a game where that's really trumpeted as a major possibility. I only started doing the solution we just saw there relatively recently. You know, bearing in mind the context of I haven't run this game in 6 months. There is incredibly enough escape you can do in this room. That block on the right with the 2 red lasers, you can actually, if you position yourself perfectly, materialize between them. It saves no time, and it's very ridiculously hard to do. I'm sure it saves like half a second or something, but it would be like a task strat or a segmented strat, something like that. I would love to see a task of this game, quite frankly. And it's not just the physical objects that appear and disappear as we change colors, it's the lasers as well. Oh, come on. That's too far. There we go. This room is the ultimate debate. I love watching casual playthroughs when they get to this room. because oftentimes casual players will catch on to the fact that all these blocks need to be made the same color, but they need to be made the same specific color, which is light blue. So I see them get to, you know, the end of the level, and the last door is blocking their way because that light blue block there, and they have to go back and do it all over again. It's always pretty funny. No, it isn't. It's part of the first playthrough experience. It definitely happened to me. I'm sure it happened to Odysseus and Zavor, too. By the way, they're fellow runners of this game, if that wasn't already obvious. Oh, have you really, Odysseus? Next room is a very special room. Has a complicated puzzle that is actually pretty fun to do, but we're not going to do any of it. I'm just going to go straight to the key. Okay. Straight to the key and straight to the door, if I don't F up. I was about to say this is the slow, safe way of doing this, which it is. I'm just bad at the video game. There we go. Not quite out of the woods yet, but this part's easy, and before dead. There we go. Yeah, really long, complicated puzzle in that room that we don't do any of. Oh, the desyncs for the task. Okay, sorry. I thought you were saying, like, I was being mean, you know, watching first playthroughs in that room with the light blue blocks and enjoying their pain. If you ever play this game casually, talk to this guy and exhaust his dialogue. That's all I'll say right now. Blue? Hello, Blue! Good grief.
Being back at the university has surfaced many memories, Hugh. I remember taking you to lectures. You would crawl to the front of the hall when I wasn't paying attention. Dr. Gray would look down from his lectern, and all his seriousness and authority would wash away. He would pick you up, walk over, and return you to my arms with a smile.
And tell me what a bad mother I was for taking my eyes off my child.
Love cannot be measured, Hugh. Like colour, it exists inside of us. I buried it. I buried the love that I had for my own ends. I hope after all this, you will see my mistakes for what they are. Yours lovingly, Mum.
This is another one of the very easy death warps. Because the box that falls on you is directly above you, and you have all the time in the world to set it up. The room itself isn't too bad, though. Nope, wrong way. There are several ways of reaching... Hello? Okay, yes, alright, we're okay. Reaching the end of this room. First playthrough, I pushed that red block off and just rode it back to the ladder, but it's faster just to shift it red. This is a room with a tough death warp, but it looks really cool when it goes right, as do they all. The ordinary solution for this room is kinda janky. Got it just right, though. University trophy case, need to mess their stuff up, and now we are in one of the most special rooms in the game. Hopefully I can let this speak for itself. Damn it! So, This is double blue laser skip. And if I have to, I'll do the single. I'm so bad at this video game. Oh, pfft. I'm surprised I was able to do that without dying. There's the double blue. And then there's a trick in this next room that's way simpler, but way harder. Simple doesn't mean easy. We have to jump over that. Okay, it went right that time, but believe me, I have lost runs to that room. Yeah, shut up. This is one of the few rooms I prefer in any percent to Warpless, because you still do most of this room in any percent, but you don't do the end part, and the end part is the not good part. In any percent, you cap this room off with a death warp with this blue block here. But in Warpless, you have to do the real solution. Yeah, nobody actually told me if there was or wasn't a rule against swearing, but I think defaulting to yes, there is a rule against it is probably the safest thing. That's how you do the room normally. It's not hard, but if you mess that last part up at all, you end up having to do it again, and it just wastes a lot of time. Boop, boop, boop. Show you my favorite pixel in the game. Right there. You can just stand here. I actually discovered that in a world record run. It's not world record anymore. It's not even my PB anymore. But at the time, it was world record. Oh, Zavor, pay attention. I'm going to show you how you do this room. This room has a death warp in it that is extremely difficult for everyone who is not named Zavor94. I call it the crazy warp because you have to be crazy to go for it in runs. I've only ever gotten it in a no reset run, oddly enough. I've never gotten it in a real run. A real, like, PB paste run. That's not gonna work. I gotta wait for another cycle. Yeah, you let that pink box kill you as you go backwards through the door. The door hitbox extends slightly beyond where the actual arc does, so it does work, but it's really hard. And oh, Zavor. Yes, here we go. Yeah, all right. That was not bad at all. That is a skip Zavor found. And I only started doing it over the last 2 days. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. This is officially a good run now. Yeah, I have lost runs in this room to being an idiot and just leaving out steps. There are a lot of things you need to do in this room, but there's no excuse for forgetting any of them. But yeah, the only time I ever got that, the crazy warp, was in one of my JDQ submission runs. The time was very far off my PB. And I just went for it in like a, you know, what the hell, XD little forehead kappa. Oh yeah, I've forgotten the key. I've forgotten to pull this thing. And I get down here and I'm like, oh my god, why is the laser gonna kill me? It's because I'm an idiot. This one's orange. Alright, this is the last puzzle room. Regrettably, it is not close to time. I wish the run ended here, but it does not. What? Okay, something went wrong there, because that should have aggroed this pink thwomp. I'm going to play it safe. In before dead. That's incredibly slow, but it worked. Grab the block, child. So yeah, this should be sub 105. I don't know about sub 1. No! Okay, it's definitely not sub 1. Like I said, my own fault for forgetting I had submitted for this marathon till like a week ago, and then forgetting when the marathon was until like a day ago, 2 days ago. So it's my own doggone fault. That's what should have happened last time. The pink thwomp coming down there. So it'll get aggroed again when I jump here. This is still kind of a slow way to do it, but it works. I think I can save this? Can I? Yeah, if I do that. No, I can't. I'm dead. Oh, I almost saved it there from the wall jump. Oh, I'm so bad. Why am I bad? It is possible to bounce off spikes in this game. I've seen it done. I've never done it myself. So, in theory, you could just bounce off the spike pit there and just go straight to the exit. I've never been able to do it, and I've spent hours trying. And I've spent hours trying something that takes 1 second to do each time. Yeah, that wall jump. No kidding. I tried. I tried to save it. I tried to do another one. Can we just do this correctly, please? Okay, we can save this. I just have to do that, and then shift to green as it's coming down. No, that's not right. It is possible to save this. I know it is. Damn it! I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. This should not take me... Can we just call time at the end of this room, please? All that comes after this is 3 minutes of walking. Like, I'm serious. 3 minutes of walking. Savor and Modicius can confirm. Wee, first try every time. Yeah, that's really 2 minutes, though. Oh, I should land on this.
Dearest Hue.
Alright, fine, I'll finish. I'm very embarrassed that this is going to go over an hour.
You have grown so much. Your mother. I tried to warn
My
her.
estimate was not 105, my estimate was an
I
hour.
thought that exiling her from the university would protect her. Would protect you. She did not understand that some people choose not to see. I never stole the ring from her, Hugh. I tried to destroy it. Before it destroyed her. I now know she had it under control. She knew what to do. My intervention shattered the ring.
Yeah, so if
altering
I
your
had a
mother's very
58
fabric.
something when Max Cash said that,
My
that means
only
this is going to be a
reprieve
101
is
something.
That you were able to follow in her footsteps, to experience her work firsthand. We do not see things as they are, Hue.
I should have practiced that last room
Instead,
more.
We see them as we are. Your mother, she has been waiting for you.
And
I
that
expect
door behind
you'll be
Hugh's mom
thrilled
actually
to
works.
see how far
If you
you've
come back
come.
to this office after completing the game, which you totally can, you are able to... Thank you, Sabor. That's very kind. You are able to go back through the game, and that's actually one of the minor categories I created, NG plus any percents, to collect all of the beakers. Obviously, we didn't even see a beaker because none of them are directly on the way. There's 28 of them in the game. They are the collectible for the game. They don't do anything. You just collect them. But yeah, to collect all 28 beakers after you've completed the game with all color shards in hand, I hope somebody does it sometime. I think it would be really interesting to see how certain puzzle rooms would work with all colors available, because they're built in such a way that you only have, 2 or 3 or 4 or 1 color available. And some of the beakers actually do require you to go back with more colors to reach them. That's why the normal 100% run has quite a bit of backtracking in it. I like to say each category has its pluses and minuses. That is the minus of the regular 100% category.
P.S. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can choose how you see it.
Nope, time is in about 5
Now you can
seconds.
see true colour. You must decide if it is for better or worse.
That's time.
I hope after all this,
And this is now officially a game I used to run. Thank you guys for having me. It was really just garden variety bad until that last puzzle room. That last puzzle room was god-awful. Wall jump was hype, though. So, please don't tell me the time. I don't want to know. That's gonna make someone post it, probably, but thanks for having me. And, I'll submit something I'm a little more practiced in if we have this marathon again.